What's going on YouTube? It's Mentor. We are doing Soupedecode 01 from TryHackMe. TryHackMe just released its Active Directory boxes, which is really annoyingly easy, but it's unique because for this machine we don't need it any LD app authentication. So there is no needed to be dump account data or it's extra. But of course we need for just for some Kerberos thing, of course. But this box is unique because we really don't need to be get to WinRAM or LDApp authentication. So let's jump in. So let me just copy the IP addresses and you know what? You can just, Soupedecode is just about password spraying, pass the hash techniques, Kerberos authentication, something like that you can see. But let's just start netexec SMP. I'm trying to be solve the whole boxes with netexec because nowadays I'm really a fan of the netexec. It's great tool, right? So we got here domain controller name DC01 and the domain name is soupedecodes.locale. So the with netexec we are available to be generate or etc host file. So let's just use it netexec for this also, and let me see. So after we just run it, it will be generate etc host file for us directly, and it's over here. We got it. So now the first things we can try, let's look at if we have guest access on SMB shares. Let me just use guest and dash p and dash the shares, and let's see if we have an access here. If we have the access on this here, so we can just try to be read some shares or grab some information about the domain, right? So for example, like a username list or something like that. For this one, we just saw here there's a backup shares, which is really interesting and not default one. And there's also users. So I think this users is using by the be reading flag. So for the be gather here the lookup SID you can use for grab to the username list. You just have to be paste your to IP addresses is over there, and it will be brute forcing the SIDs on the domain, and it will be giving us the here SID type users and SID type group. It's over here. But it's annoying that there is a loads SID type user here, and as you can see here there is really too long users over there. So it's not really to be doing it to be say with all of them and try to be password spray, but that was the way. So since we are in the video, so I don't want to be taking long, so let me just say with them as the look users, and it's here. So we are just need to be grab username list, and let me let's just printing the second value here, or alright, so we have to be print second value. So but we just got here username list with soupedecode and backslash. Let me just cut it with cut command, cut dash t, and giving to which one you want to cut and which value you want to read. For example, we want to delete the second value, so that is F2, and we want to cut the backslash, so that is backslash. So now we got the username list is over here, and let me say with them as users.txt, and now we can start password spray, and I will use for username and password together, because if we are doing here, let's just check if any users using his username as password, right? So continue on success, and if you want to be give dash dash no brute force, it will only try with user by user, but it will take a time too much. So let me just show you which user is using his username as his password. So it was calling, not this one, maybe that one. Oh my god, to be honest I forgot. Let's see. Alright, so we already got it here, so it's not recurred. No, so that's cool. Alright, so we got it here our first grad, which is Yebob with calling here, something like that. There is no any of the usernames is using his usernames as his password. So now we can just check netexec SMP and looking for the if we have any different something on the shares. Let me just use it here, the shares. And if we have the interesting things on the shares, so just we can try to go and we can try to be read it, and then maybe we are getting here user.txt. As you can see here is users is now readable, and I think we can use smb client ng. And for using smb client ng, you just have to be give username, password, and giving the host as dc. It has to be extracted here fqdn, so this is important. So okay, so I did wrong. So we have to be user shares first, and it sees our visibility is visible for user. So we can just use users, and now we can just run dir command, and then let's see. So we got it here 3 user is admin, administrator, and ebop, so which is all user I think. So let me go on here and let me just run it here dir again, and you will see here there's a desktop. So we can just go to here desktop for the be read users.txt. The reason I use it here smb client ng, because you are not needed to be dumped to any file on the smb shares. You can use bat command to be read it, and if you say bat user.txt, you will get the user.txt is over here. Alright, so we got it here. Nice. There's a 2 things we have to be do. The first things, if we have user list try srap roasting, if we have carrots try Kerberos. But for these ones, so for example, Kerberos and ASAP roasting is supporting by LDAP, so you cannot do it with SMP. So we just need to be checked if we have LDAP access on the server, which or user ebop was it's called here. So right, so let me just check with, you know what, I want to continue with the DC name. So net exec LDAP and dash hue, and let me grab it here to username and password, and let's see if we have an access here. So now we can just try Kerberos, and then we have to be just give it here which file it has to be create, and we have carrots, so we will try Kerberos. If we have user list and no carrots, we have to be tried ASAP roasting. We got an error here, but it's okay, so we can just run it again, because sometimes it's always getting this issue. I have really no idea why I cannot run ASAP roasting is right now. I mean Kerberos. You know what? Maybe it's about IP issue. So let me just give you here IP, which is 10.10.01.157. Let's see. Alright, so it seems like just now work. So you can try to be correct all over hashes is over here, and this users is Kerberosable, but only work for on file services. So let me just grab it and save it down. Win file services hash. For the crackets, it will be fast. I will use the John and then user share wordless crack.txt, and then it should be crackable, and we will get here the password ASAP. So we got here password 123. So we can just also try to be password spray here, but it's not required. Let me just try net exec smp, and for the username we have to be give file services, and for password let's just give it our password, and let's just verify if it's really worked. After it worked, I will just run it here dash shares, because there was a backup shares which is not default and was really interesting. And with file services, you will see here you are able to be read this share. It's calling here backup. So let me just using here smb client again. We have to be given username, password, and dash host, and giving tc01 soupedecode.locale. And let me just run it here dir. Okay, so my bad again, my bad. So we have to be use backup first, right? So now let me just run dir, and we got it here backup extract.txt. So we can also use that here, and then we will get some hashes and pass the hash to the calling from description. That's why. Let me save it as over here, and we got too many hash and too many the usernames here, and we are really not sure which one is valid. that could be is everything is valid here. For example, we can just try the cat users.txt. Let me just exit here, cat users.txt, and then grab -I, and let's just try that, and there is no. That one was working, but I didn't check if it's verified. It's it here? No, it's not. So the reason here, it's I think there are not compare in the SID list, right? So that's why the lookup SID don't work. So we can just use it here -- read root or something like that to be rapid. It's to in more compatible. So that could be correct. That could be correct. There is no fucking shame. So there's a, for example, web server, database server. Everything was here didn't work. I tried one of them because there was a 10 users like a monitoring server to web server, but file server just worked and it was here able to be get on the administrator privilege. So now I'm gonna be try it again, of course, and let me paste it here, and then let's see if this hash really match, right? Which is here, right? And then let me see, and you will be see here it says it's just pivnet. So that means as pivnet we can dump everything, and I recommend to be using here NTDS. It's really bad for OPSEC, but it's good for the fast on the CTFs, of course, and --NTDS is really good for this one. So there is no need to be you have to be using a secret stamp or something like that. It can take a time, but there is no needed, because we only needed here administrator hash, which is here. So let me just copy it off it here, net exec smb, and I'm gonna use it here administrator username -h for hashes. So let me give it here the hash, and it's really worked. But there's also, I want to show on net exec smb, you can use -x to be executed your cmd commands, because it will use vmi exec. For example, for user, root.txt, you can use type c administrator desktop root.txt. So let me just use it over here, and then it will be using here vmi exec, of course, and it will be read root.txt for us on. Okay, type. Okay, so my typo, my bad. So alright, it says a pivnet, and now it will be using here the vmi exec and giving us the root flag. I'm not sure if I like it to be the part of the last part of the when it's not recovered button or something like that, but it's matching as easy, so that's really cool. And that's all. Thank you for watching.